Down here we've got a plant called cow parsley. I'm talking about this plant here with that fern-like leaf structure you can hopefully see. And cow parsley is a member of the carrot family, which is a bit notorious in the foraging world because it contains some lovely delicious wild edibles like sweet cicely and common hogweed, but it also contains some of the deadly toxic ones like hemlock and hemlock water dropwort, and indeed hemlock can, when you're a beginner, look a bit similar to that. When it comes to identifying cow parsley, there are a few factors you want to look at. Obviously very important not to confuse it for hemlock. So one of the first and most important keys to just rule out hemlock straight away is how hairy it is. You can see there on the stems, the whole plant and all the stems is covered in hairs, absolutely covered in them. So that's a really good thing to see. Other features you could look for, you will see sometimes this here, this kind of reddy purplish coloration, but very importantly it will be a smooth reddy purple colour, a bit like over here as well. It's like a smooth colour. It's not blotchy. Hemlock, the deadly toxic one, is blotchy, so the red coloration and the purplish coloration on hemlock stems will be blotchy, like someone's flicked a load of red paint, whereas on cow parsley it can be more like this, where it's very purplish in colour, but it's a nice smooth coloration, not blotchy. Now, although on cow parsley the actual main flower stem that I'm looking at here, that's going to produce the flower, is pretty round in shape, it does have celery-like ridges all the way around it, but it is otherwise it's a kind of round shape. But the actual leaf stems on cow parsley, quite a good example of it here, the leaf stems like this are actually have this like guttering down the middle. So I don't know if you can see that. It might be easier to look at it in a bit of a cross section, so I'll just snap that off and show you. Excuse me for a second. So yeah, you can probably see it maybe a bit better there, like a bit of a guttering down the middle. So it's not a perfectly round stem. It is a bit more celery-like with that guttering down the middle. The leaf stems of hemlock, the deadly toxic one, will be a bit more round actually. But very importantly as well, look at all those hairs. Remember, hemlock is hairless. There are no hairs on hemlock. So even the presence of hairs will at least rule out it being hemlock. And the last thing I'd just check as well is also the smell. So if you just crush up that leaf, as in break it up and smell it, it doesn't smell amazing at all, but it doesn't smell bad either. It's just a grassy green leaf. You could maybe describe it at best as a grassy parsley kind of smell. So pleasant, but not amazing is how I'd describe it, as in it's perfectly okay to smell. But hemlock will actually smell pretty bad. It will smell quite musty. To me, it smells musty and chemically. Some people describe it as mouse urine, but I've never tried or smelt mouse urine myself. So I just describe it as musty and a little bit chemically when you crush the leaves of hemlock. Whereas if you crush the leaves of these and smell it, it's just more of a grassy parsley. What I do actually genuinely quite like, and for me personally, it's the only part of cow parsley that I do like to harvest, are the stems, the flowering stems, when they get thick enough, as they are on this one, so at least 1 centimetre in thickness. But it's also a balance because you don't want to get them too old as well, because they do go from being nice and juicy to eat to very quickly being too tough and fibrous to eat. But I'll show you how I actually do eat them, because they do have a bit of a hairy and outer fibrous layer, so you do have to peel that back. So I'm just going to chop a bit off there, and I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see that. Now I sort of peel back the outer fibrous layer like this, because that outer bit with all the hairs on, and it feels a little bit more fibrous as well, is just a bit as I said, hairy and fibrous. So you just get rid of that outer layer and then you can eat that middle bit there. So I'll come in and have some. That you can just eat like a celery stick. To be honest, I rarely actually take these home to do anything with, although obviously you could. But normally I just literally take them when I'm out, peel them back, and then just eat them literally like a celery stick. I've got the top half of it here, so again you can do the same thing. I often start at that bit there, peel back a nice layer there, and then just go round, work your way around basically, just peeling back what I call that outer fibrous layer, which is less pleasant to eat, safe to eat, but it's just a bit harder and not as nice. And that part of cow parsley is actually really nice. It's juicy, crunchy, nice texture. It gives you a refreshing drink, very succulent, but it also has a nice flavour. Not a massively strong flavour, but I wouldn't call it mild either. It's a decent flavour. I certainly think it tastes a bit more like parsley than the leaves do, but otherwise it's just honestly a really nice, refreshing taste. If you do peel back the outer layer and you find it's a bit tough and fibrous and not lovely and juicy and crunchy, then you probably are too late. You've left it too late. Sometimes if it's just gone into flower, the upper part of the stem can still be okay, but it can start to get a bit tough and fibrous once it's properly in flower. So ideally you want to catch them even before the flowers quite form.